arms stretched, an old woman pleaded with the Earl for the charity of a coin. The Earl cruelly dismissed her. The old woman screamed a curse. For every branch of the old oak tree that fell, a member of the Earl's family would die. But the story didn't end there.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for the support on the first episode of Parkology, where we covered everything related to Universal Studios.
So if you haven't watched it, go bloody watch it. Anyways, today we'll be talking about everything Alton Towers. Just like Merlin, we also take our time working on a new project.
Hence the delayed release of this episode. But shut up, it's here, all right?
Moving on to something Merlin did manage to get done in this season, we have Ripsaw Reborn.
No. We have TOXICATOR on a reel, located over in 1.4 metre valley.
It's a Huss suspended topspin, and it's actually the tallest in the world.
Thanks, Concrete. It's actually one of 2 double-sided models located in Europe.
And is the only one to feature an underpass where guests can walk through.
And I think it's about 16 foot above ground level as well, so not much bigger than me, really.
Yeah, and for some reason, Alton Towers have posted that this ride, TOXICATOR, will have a 10+ age limit.
Which seems absolutely crazy, but I mean, it is located in 1.4 metre valley.
Yeah.
And I think Subterra has a similar age restriction as well, right?
Believe so.
I believe it was actually around about the same, I think. So
I think it's higher.
Yeah, I think it might be 13, right? 12 plus?
13, 12 plus?
Something like that. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah. This is a huge overdue investment to the park with a massive...
No!
with a massive throughput of around 500 riders per hour. This now makes Forbidden Valley a crowd eater.
Literally.
With Nemesis Reborn of 1,200 riders per hour.
Boasting its bright neon green paint job, it sticks out like a sore thumb in Forbidden Valley.
Now, we weren't too keen on it when it was first announced it was going to be black and green, but now seeing it in person and all the testing footage that Towers have released, I must say it does look amazing. Yeah,
it genuinely looks really good, and we've seen a bit more of it today as well, and it has, on the silos on the side, it's actually got LED screens in there that kind of do a cool animation of the silo filling up with this green toxic goo, I guess. Is this the beginning of the rise of the flat rides?
We hope so.
Speaking of flat rides, obviously we've had the removal of all of the Retro Squad, which was 5 fairground rides that Alton Towers basically brought in just after the pandemic in 2021. They introduced these in staggered periods across the following 3 years. So I think from 2021 to 2023, it's a different 3 rides from 2022 to 23 as well. So it was all different. But now they are all finally phased out, alongside the removal of Flavio's as well, which was located up in the world of David Williams.
Yeah. And on top of that, they have also removed the Blade after a staggering 44 years of service.
I mean, you add our ages up together, that gives... it's older than both of us combined.
Yeah.
So we've also seen the closure of the dungeons as well, which we all know was a crazy upcharged walk-through dungeons, which to me seems mental, because with the Merlin Annual Pass, you can literally go to any dungeons anywhere and get in for free. But the one at Alton Towers, for some reason, you couldn't. And it was an upcharge, and I don't know what the upcharge was, but... and obviously, with the closure of that, we've seen the removal of the boat ride that's actually in there as well. Not that it counts as a flat ride, but it's another ride closed.
And this seems quite counterproductive, considering Towers has had a trouble with maintaining flat rides, or even having any flat rides the past couple of years, removing many greats like Ripsaw, Submission and the Enterprise.
Rest in peace. Moving on to some rides that have remained closed for many years, we have Hex. Closing in 2016 for the whole season, and then managing to reopen in 2017 and running for a fair few years after, only to close yet again in the 2022 season. And I mean, thankfully it opened up again in 2024.
Until its opening day, where it opened for 1 day and then remained closed for another week.
Yep.
And then had another reopening, well, reopening day.
Because that's what Towers do best.
That's Merlin.
Now, obviously, we've seen a huge investment into Hex as well, and that is part of the reason why it was closed for quite a long period of time. It needed the whole ride system redoing, and I think they touched up quite a lot of the theming pieces inside of the vault itself. The refurb of Hex was fairly unliked due to the addition of some lights in the vault room.
I've never known lights to offend someone.
Talking of underfunded rides, we have the Sky Ride, which is huge in terms of park transportation.
The Sky Ride closed in the beginning of the 2022 season and had a multi-year refurbishment plan.
Towers have spent millions of pounds on investing back into this ride, and even then it still took them 3 years to get it back open. And it had a delayed opening still.
Yeah, even by a month later.
So it's not even open for the start of the 2025 season, even though they've had 3 years to work on this ride.
Yeah.
So we have had an announced date of April is going to be its opening date.
No confirmed date, but they've given us a very vague month where it's going to open.
So we've got about 30 days where it could open. And I mean, Alton Towers' track record basically kind of tells us that it's going to open for a couple of days and then close for a week later.
Yeah. So Sky Ride, see you 3 years later.
Should we have a change of scene?
It was on a cold autumn night in 1821 when the thunder of hooves signalled the return of the wealthy 15th Earl of Shrewsbury back to his home, Alton Towers.
So seriously, I genuinely hate Rita, I think.
Honestly, I think it's got to be the next to go.
It has to be
Surely.
the race to go. I mean, it took us 3 hours to decide that Rita is the worst coaster in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we've obviously made it back to the hotel room, so we are still technically at Alton Towers at the moment. We promise. Splash Landings Hotel. But what we wanted to move on to was the world of David Walliams and sort of Project Horizon overall. So, markings have been found around the area of what was the Dungeons. The Dungeons was an upcharge event that ran from 2019 all the way through to the end of the 2024 season. And it closed due to a reimagination of the whole area for a Scarefest event, which was Amigos of the Afterlife.
And Towers being Towers, they've left the signage for a Halloween attraction 5 months after.
Rumours are that these markings are for the long-anticipated Project Horizon, which will be located between the Dungeons and the world of David Walliams, and this is predicted to be a giant indoor coaster.
Predictions are that Horizon will be a multi-dimensional indoor coaster, most likely made by the manufacturer of Intamin. However, some crazy enthusiasts believe that this will be a 300-foot RMC. Me.
No. But seriously, a lot of people do genuinely believe that this is something that could change Alton Towers forever. And it's expected to be something completely unexpected and revolutionary. Something that is confirmed for the 2026 season is that Alton Towers are going to be getting a new Caterpillar coaster. I mean, sorry. I mean, a new coaster replacing the current Postman Pat the Ride.
On our most recent visit, we saw around CBU's land that there have been places cleared already for footers.
Yeah, they had like blue markings, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
plans were submitted at the end of 2024 to build a brand new coaster. It boasts a staggering 9.3 metres tall.
it's basically the same height as me.
It does come with a very basic oval layout.
However, it does have a maintenance shed, which could possibly mean that it actually has 2 trains and could be more interesting than just a basic oval.
Popular beliefs are that this coaster will be themed to the TV series Bluey, due to its recent rise to fame.
To fund all the new rides Towers have been putting in, they've had to make cuts from somewhere. And unfortunately, that's come from the entertainments team and all of the events that take place at the park across the year, with the biggest loss being Oktoberfest. Across the previous years, Towers have ran a big range of events. These events include Festival of Thrills, Magic Grass, Summer of Fun, and the beloved Oktoberfest.
This season, we already know Oktoberfest has been removed from the event lineup for this year, and a day has been removed from fireworks. Previously running from a Friday to Sunday event, this has now been reduced to a Saturday to Sunday event. However, it's not all bad. Towers have announced that they will be running Scarefest a couple of days earlier this year, and 9 PM closes are back for however long. Because last year they announced 9 p.m. closes, but then changed it to, was it 7 p.m. or
8 p.m. closes.
8 p.m. closes.
Just halfway through the season, completely unexpected. They just went back on that word. So
fingers crossed, Towers keep their word and have the 9 p.m. closes.
I really hope so.
And they've also extended opening hours in August to 7 p.m.
Which is obviously a good thing. We all like a late night ride.
We all like a sunset ride.
A sunset ride. Oof. Heading back to crazy enthusiast rumours, has anyone heard about the Galactica retheme? At the end of last season, it almost seemed like we were going to be getting some sort of retheme to aid Galactica into the whole Forbidden Valley theme. But with the recent budget cuts, it doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. Not like we wanted it anyways.
Well, even though we won't see a retheme to Galactica, I have great news. Towers have invested in some themed bins.
No way.
I know.
This is insane.
To go with these new themed bins, we know that Towers have also invested some time and love into some signage and new theming pieces around the park.
Talking of new investments, we obviously spoke about the removal of some of the flat rides, but we never spoke about some of the flat rides that we'd like to see come into the park, right?
Yeah.
So,
an area, in my opinion, that needs a supporting flat ride is the Dark Forest.
yes.
With 2 rides there, being Return 13, known for their downtime, specifically in the later half of the season, Dark Forest needs a supporting flat ride to really help with the management of queues. I personally would love to see a Magic 2D ride made by Huss.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what it is, we'll put in some images over the top of this. I would like to see an S&S Scream and Swing, which... that's probably not going to happen, let's be real.
Totally
but
happen.
I just feel like it's a really, really good flat ride, and it's one of my favourite flat rides in the whole of the UK. And to see something like that brought to the Alton Towers Resort would be really cool. And they can make smaller models of it as well, so it wouldn't have to necessarily be the massive model that we've got at Fort Park.
Another area we think that needs a supporting flat ride would be the X Sector.
100% it does, yeah.
Not sure what, but going off the theme of X Sector, it'd have to be something really, really weird.
I do agree. I mean, in the past, we've obviously seen Submission located down there, which I'd argue is a pretty weird flat ride, right?
Yeah.
But one of the ones that we'd like to see there is possibly a breakdance manufactured by Huss as well. Obviously, we know that they've already got the new Topspin Toxicator, which is manufactured by Huss. So there could be some sort of like multi-year deal almost made with the manufacturer to get more flat rides in.
And I think it'd be also really cool to see a breakdance theme to say the Ministry of Joy.
That'd be
I
awesome.
think that would be so...
It's a good ride to have to theme to that, yeah, definitely. Since 2023, the towers have been closed off to the public, and considering Alton Towers is literally based off this castle situated in the middle of the park, you'd expect it to be open.
You'd think, but unfortunately people can't be trusted to walk around a structurally unsafe environment.
And not vandalise it.
Yeah.
Which kind of seems like the general public sort of thing to do.
Yeah. Which is such a shame, because it would be such a good way to draw people back in.
100%, because, for example, not a lot of people come for the rides, right? If you're, say, with a family, your children love the rides, you might not enjoy the rides at all. And I mean, I know that we've got the gardens, but having the towers back open again would be just great for that one person that doesn't necessarily want to go on the Smiler. Do you know what I mean? They can take a nice stroll through the towers, through the gardens, and just kind of enjoy the time that they've got here, which would be lovely.
But it's not all bad. Towers are bringing back the guided towers tours, along with the gardens, back for 2025.
Exactly. My only issue with that, though, is then you're paying for an upcharge thing in the park. Alongside that, it's also taking time out of your day, like the hours out of your day, where you could be riding on rides, queuing up for rides, to then go for this guided tour. Yeah. And with it being a guided tour too, you're kind of limited on where you can and can't go.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, we haven't done this tour ourselves, but as we know from last year at Scarefest, the attic, you do actually go into the upper levels of the tower. So whether you revisit that, probably not.
No.
If I had to guess, it would probably be the conservatory and the gardens.
Most likely, yeah. So Alton Towers are actually bringing back some of the, well, beloved VIP experiences, which they offered a couple of last season. They are obviously the track walks. So you can track walk Nemesis Reborn, Oblivion, and The Wicker Man.
Another returning feature for hotel guests here at Alton Towers is early ride time. No dates have been confirmed yet, but if I had to imagine, it would probably be during the summer holidays.
Yeah, on their sort of peaker periods, because, well, we're here at the moment and there's not many people here. It'd be a bit pointless to do an early ride time. The rides that are offered during this early ride time is Odyssey BB's Land, the Runaway Mine Train, alongside Nemesis Reborn. So it's pretty good. You can get into the park from 9 a.m. through the Hotel Galactica gate entrance, which is only available for hotel guests.
And there you have it, Parkology Episode 2.
In all seriousness, I'd love to thank you all for all the support that we had on both of our last videos for this, and hopefully you enjoy this one just as much as the previous one. I promise that episode 3 will be out a lot quicker than what episode 2 took to come out.
And in the meantime, feel free to check out both of our channels. And while you're here, might as well subscribe.
And, I mean, if you don't, I'm going to find you. I will.
Bye.